So I want to show off one more item here, and this is something that I use all the time when I'm dealing with calculations inside of Excel. And for that matter, there's other scenarios outside of calculations that I use this for as well. So it's a huge feature, one that I use all over my Excel documents. It's called AutoFill. Take a look. So we've been plugging in calculations, right? We got one calculation in there for January. We then moved to February. We do that one. We go to March. We do that one. We go do the totals for each of the bills. We did min, max, and average. We did each of them individually. Well, there's a lot of similarities between each of our functions. For example, my first function here for January, it's a sum function, and it's summing up the 5 cells directly above it. The next one, it's the exact same formula, the exact same function. The only difference is it's in a new position, but I still want the 5 cells directly above it. And then the next one, it's in a new position, but it's still the 5 cells up above. Well, there should be a way to automate that. You guessed it, there is. And it's the AutoFill. Take a look. I'm going to go ahead and once again, all that work, I'm going to delete it out. Let's just get rid of our calculations. And you know what? Even for fun, I'm going to get rid of the percent as well. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create the first one, and I'm going to use the shortcut key. So here I am instead of B9. I'm going to hit Alt plus the equal sign, Alt equals. That sums it up, which is confirm. B4 to B8 looks good. Hit my Enter key. There's my 1675. I don't care about that error. Let's go ahead and ignore that. All right, so now I need to populate the rest. Well, remember, all I need to do is this formula, I need to move it over here. And then I need to move it over here, and then over here. It's always the 5 cells up above. Well, earlier when we were doing the percent, I had you copy paste. You created the first one, copied it, pasted it, copied it, pasted it, and it ended up using that relative and absolute referencing that we talked about. Well, here, the autofill command, if I go to 1675, the autofill is this little box in the corner, this commonly overlooked feature, and it's huge. It's going to do so much for you and automate your steps. If I move my cursor right over the top of that little box, I get a little black plus sign. Now, if I click and hold down, I can drag that over all the way there, and it's just going to copy that formula for us. That's it. I'm going to hop up here, auto sum, B4 to D4, looks good. Enter, grab that one, grab the little box in the corner, and drag it down. And there's my totals. Super slick. It's like copy and paste, and it's just performing the exact same formula, just based on its new position. And it's really important that we understand the relative and absolute referencing. So if something's not quite clear there, remember that deals with, oh, from this location, I'm just going 5 cells up. Sum that up. From this location, go 5 cells up, right? Just based on its new position. If it's still not clear, again, go to the Q&A section or go back and rewatch the videos on absolute and relative referencing. It's really easy to do, and it's really short. Now, what I want you to do is complete that, use the autofill, populate those cells, get rid of those silly little errors, and then I want you to recreate the percent one. Recreate the first one, and then copy it down. Now, you're going to need to remember relative versus absolute, right? The first time you do it, you might get an error, but then just go back in and adjust the cell referencing. Remember the dollar signs. All right, complete that. Use the autofill to do the rest of them, and we'll call this one complete for right now, and we're going to move into our next set of topics. So hopefully you're enjoying this. You're learning something new. Even if you've been using Excel for years, hopefully you picked up something new as we've been talking about functions inside of Excel.